Hello, everyone. I'm just going to start in the next 10 seconds. Um, so it's the last day of the web sessions today, and clearly so, we're excited to see everyone meet us tomorrow at the Careers Day. As we continue our journey of empowerment and learning, we have the privilege today of introducing an exceptional speaker for the session and a very dear friend of mine as well. Please join me in welcoming Mo El Sherbini. Mo has led the growth of over 51 brands, achieving results that are 3 times faster and 4 times more profitable. As, as the executive head of digital marketing, e-commerce, growth, MarTech, and analytics, Mo has done pretty much everything when it comes to running your business well through marketing and beyond. He has a wealth of experience across various industries, banking, retail, hospitality, and more. He's also a renowned SME, startup, and enterprise growth consultant. Mo's expertise in driving growth and profitability through innovative digital strategies, analytics is unparalleled. His insights will provide you with valuable knowledge and practical tools to manage, grow, as well as nurture your teams and their careers through your business endeavors. Because we all know, as a business, it's so important to have the right people. So we hope you stay back till the end of the session so that Mo and us can learn and share our experiences through this afternoon. Over to you, Mo. I have a lot more to say, but I'll hand it over to you. I know you have to go somewhere as well later today.
You made me very shy already at the beginning. Thank you so much for such intro. You're so kind, always, Armin, and thank you for making me part of this amazing journey for everybody. Hello,
Mhm.
everyone. So you can call me Mo. I can see more people are joining, which is awesome. Just to give you an idea about the flow of the conversation today, and please feel free to share your questions, thoughts in the chat, and we will discuss it along the way. The way I broke it down is first, I'm going to share with you what I honestly thought of as kind of the golden rules, but this is more of a practical approach to the challenges entrepreneurs or employees can come across in the journey, and hopefully something to widen perspective. I'm sure a lot of them you'll be aware of already, and we can take them from there. And then we're going to be focusing a bit around the hiring. And then we're going to focus on the retention and nurturing, which again is a very important one. Q&As will happen in the end, but feel free if you have any question, please do let me know. So when it comes to those golden rules, and honestly, one of the things I would recommend you to do is just take a few notes of them and try to research and whether educate yourself if it's the first time you hear about them or actually expand your knowledge around them. His first thing is take good care of yourself. I know it sounds a bit simple, but think about it, right? You won't be able to look after others. Others can be your colleagues, your teams, even your organization if you're the owner or the entrepreneur running the business, if you don't look after yourself. And this goes in so many different ways, whether mental or physical. And then comes a second point, which is one of my favorites, which is find a balance. We always hear the word work-life balance, right? But for me, balance is very different from one person to another. So try to find your perfect balance. And what I mean by that is try to focus on a very known concept of working smarter, not harder, on anything. Look at how you can do something that usually takes you 10 hours. How can you achieve it in 2? And this will also open your mind when you more think about it, research about it, to the difference between being efficient and being effective, right? Sometimes we confuse between doing the right thing or doing things right. You want to first discover how can you do things right and focus on those right things. And then if you're a perfectionist, I know it puts a lot of pressure on you, but we can discuss this at a later stage. Another important point, I think it's important for everyone, is we have to believe in the importance of steps and stages. And what I mean by that, we're not born adults. I mean, just imagine if I'm just born in such shape and form, it will be really weird, right? So sometimes what we do is we focus a lot on what we want to achieve in 10 years, in 5 years, and then it becomes a bit challenging and scary. We're humans at the end, right? So start to break it down to more, what do you want to achieve this week, this month, this quarter? So break it into small steps. And that takes you into a concept which I really recommend that you would try to educate yourself about, which is the backward planning. We're all very familiar of, I want to achieve this in 3 years, and then you set your goal, your objectives, and you want to achieve it. But actually, the backward planning work in a different way. Once you've set this goal, you start to think of the time and the milestones you want to achieve till that date. And then you'll be very surprised of how realistic this goal is. And if you find it very realistic or very ambitious, you start to think of the sacrifices you need to go through. And then you ask yourself a simple question. Are you okay to handle those sacrifices, right? Which can affect you, your family, your friends, and so on. And based on that, you can make your decision. Now comes to an important point. We all live in the UAE, and it's 200 nationalities. Just imagine. I mean, I don't think there is anywhere in the world I'm aware of that will have such a diversity of nationalities, right? So please understand me when I say this. What makes sense to you means nothing to others. And the more you embrace such approach and make peace with it, you'll realize once we became expats, there is a bit of, not a bit, sometimes it can be even high, of loneliness in the way we live our lives. And hence come look at the community Armin has created over the years, right? And it's so important to differentiate between your family, your friends, and the community you're trying to be part of. And the idea behind the community that you're part of a group of people and you don't need to engage with them daily or weekly or monthly, but you know very well you're there for them and they're also going to be there for you to help you to grow together in your journey, right? And discuss things you're not open to discuss with friends and family. Now comes another one, which I know even Armin was telling me about, which is the emotional intelligence. And please think of this: no one likes being on a boat in rough waters. And I think the emotional intelligence as a kind of a term is a bit unusual to many. And it's simply you can manage your own emotions while understanding the emotions of others around you and how you affect each other. So when I say emotions, yes, they do exist in business. I know a lot of uh, business people don't like me when I keep bringing that, but at the end, business is a group of people working together, right? So we may wake up in the morning, we're not in the right state of mind, and it's so important for you to be able to read this and engage with them in a different way. Now, one of the, I think, important principles, and I think we've been all been victim to misunderstanding what we need to focus on, is when we all do a great job, right, at our work, whether and whatever the role, right, we play, right, whether an employee in any level in the organization or being an owner, please remember me in saying this. Your true superpower is not your hard skills, it's not knowing how to do your job. It's actually your true superpower will be how to present yourself, how to tell your story, how to build an emotional connection, how to solve problems, how to lead a conversation, how to lead a team, how to be a good colleague, a good leader, a good mentor. And this comes from shifting your focus from hard skills to soft skills. And soft skills is a very broad subject, right? One of the small parts in it is actually communication and even emotional intelligence as part of it. So I really hope you would reconsider for the remainder of 2024 to discover what other soft skills you want to really develop. So in a couple of months, you'll be very surprised of how a different person you are. And I promise you, what your hard skills fail to achieve any kind of change you're hoping to have, soft skills will help you achieve. Now, there is a thing I always tell Aisha, she's my fiance, and I think she finds it a bit interesting when she see me doing. I like to look in the mirror every couple of days, and I try to tell myself how different I am. Not from physical appearance. I was joking with Armin at the beginning how much hair I've lost so far, but it's more on reflecting on am I a different person than a year ago? Have I see any change since? And remember, this is not only to try to discover the good change you've come across. Uh, I mean, life is tough, right? You can come across a bit of negative, right? Changes in you, but it's good that it become, you have a self-awareness, so you're aware of what happened, or maybe you won't notice it at the same second, but it will start to come from your subconscious to think about it while you're driving, while you're in a meeting, sitting with friends, and you try to reflect on that. So please do this kind of reflection in whatever way possible you think of to discover what's happening with you. Now comes one, and I think a lot of people disagree with me on that, which is an advice I give everybody. It's all right to stay in your comfort zone. It's really all right. If you follow athletes when they do marathon, right? And the difference between a marathon of 20, 40, or 100 kilometers and once they do sprints of 100 meters, right? When you do a marathon, you cannot keep running at the same pace, speed, and put the same effort and burn the same energy for the 100 kilometers. You'll be burned out, and you probably won't reach the end. So it's so important for you to realize the fact that it's all right to stay for a month, for a year, for even three in a comfort zone due to other reasons. It could be a family reason, it could be a health reason, it could be just you want to enjoy life, right? So please do keep this in mind. And a good reminder for everyone, because we don't do this enough, celebrate. And when I say celebrate, it's around recognition and reward. And I can challenge each one of you, if you don't do enough effort in recognizing yourself, your own efforts, your own achievements, I don't think you're going to be doing a good job recognizing others. That's why I always like to start with myself. And then I know if I did a good job and I improved little bit, little by little, definitely I can affect others in a more positive way. Now, one of the interesting things I find in life, it's about change. And I read it, I think, one time, and sorry if I cannot quote it correctly, but it says, one of the most constant things in life is change, right? How ironic, right? And if you look at me since 2020, I was working in hospitality. You can imagine when COVID hit, hospitality and travel industry, airlines, they got hit so we immediately stayed home after probably 15, 16 years of being in one industry and not knowing what I'm going to do. I think what I lost my job back in February, by December, I was able to secure another. And I started in retail. So the one message I want to share with you is be okay with change, be okay with adapting to change, be okay with failure. You could have a career break for whatever reason, and after a few years, you want to come back to it. It's all right if you would lower your expectations a bit so you can get back on track, get used to it, and slowly, slowly progress and evolve. And there is nothing wrong with that. Now, if I would pose on, I would say something here is if you look at it from whether you're running a business, whether it's small or medium, and if you look at yourself as an employee or a job seeker, so far what I just shared, it's a lot about you and how you can improve yourself. Because I think sometimes we forget when we're going to go to an interview, when we're going to go to actually even hiring process as an owner or dealing with partners or dealing with suppliers, it's so important that we went through these key points and made peace with it, thought about it, put a lot of effort in it, because it will change the outcome that comes out of us. So it's not only about change. We as a human being, our personal life, our beliefs also affect how we affect the business. And I have a trio, which I really like. It's like when you go to a Lebanese restaurant and you order the trio, right? Salads. Always remember, be different, be competitive, and be seen. And if you mix those together, whether you're a business or whether you are an employee, you will be unstoppable. And I promise you that. And
Mo, what
now,
was the third one?
yeah,
Sorry, third one. Be seen, you said, right? I didn't.
seen. Yes. So be different,
Yeah.
be unique, be competitive, but in a healthy way, right? Without bringing harm to others, right? Because I know some people like to be very competitive. But last one, you want to be seen. And what I mean by that, you can be an amazing performer as an employee, but you're not seen, you're not engaging. And I think I'm going to build to that at a later stage and build on this. You're not engaging with your colleagues, you're not engaging cross departments, you're not engaging with the different senior leaders, right? So you're not seen. And I think the same will apply to business. And when I was dealing a lot of consultancy for especially small and medium size, you'd be very surprised, even at a larger scale, they're not seen. They're not seen in terms of social media. They're not seen on news websites, right? And so on. Or even they don't have their own proper personal branding for their leaders, right? So doing great job, no matter who you are or what you are, is never enough if you're not seen. Make sense? Any questions so far? Let me see if on the way I think we're okay. Feel free if you have any questions you want to share. We would love to discuss it. So, all right. Now, remember this. Those two next points, please. Is one is read, read, read. And I hate reading. Now, let me read this. I really hate reading, right? But gaining knowledge from reading, it's so important, and it expands your mindset. So for example, in my case, I think it started probably 6 7 years ago, when I decided simply I'm not going to read books, I'm going to enjoy the technology of audiobooks, right? And there is a lot of tools out there, softwares at a very reasonable cost. So every book I really enjoyed, read about, I go and listen to it while driving, while in the elevator, while walking by the beach, while in the metro. And it's been really a game changer for me. And I love YouTube videos. I like to consume, I'm a very visual person, so I like to consume a lot of content through this way. And second will be network, network, network. And what we have here is a fantastic example again. And God bless Armin for working years and years and years and years to create this beautiful community, right? That only keeps growing. But I think a lot of people, when they hear the word network, they confuse two different principles. Do I network with friends, with family, or friends of, the family? Or actually with strangers, where I believe together we can benefit each other. It's not about asking for favors, but together we're becoming stronger. So, for example, I tell my fiance, and actually we're coming tomorrow to the event. I hope to see you all there. Please engage, say hi to others, and Armin is amazing. So Armin will help us to kind of mentor Aisha, so she knows how she can do that. Because I know it's hard. It's you can be, you can be an amazing leader, but not that easy for you to network, whether physically or through digital solutions. But this is so important. And if I regret one thing, if you ask me now, I'm 44 years old, I did not network enough in my life. So whoever is joining this webinar, I don't know, depending on your age, please network. There is no problem, even if you're in 40s or your 50s. It doesn't end. It doesn't stop. Just focus on that. All right. So the last point of the golden rules is going to be the word invest. And I think this will fit perfectly. And I'm not talking about it only from a financial perspective. And what I mean by that is, first, again, I always believe you need to start with yourself. And this is investing in yourself, right? and then invest in others. So think about it. In this, for example, in this story, you're an entrepreneur, right? You have your own small business, whether it's the first or the second. I think a lot of employees and people out there don't understand how lonely it is to be an entrepreneur, but also how scary it is when it comes to profitability, right? Especially when you don't have enough capital coming in to support you and you really depend on the money you make, right? The sales you make every month to keep feeding the business and keeping it alive. And I know this moment when you get closer to the end of the month and seeing your P&L, and did I make enough profit? Did I cover my cost? Am I growing or not? But please keep this in mind. When it comes to hiring, if you're still going to continue to put pressure on the employees that you're hiring, that there is no job security, it's commission based, so there is no stability even in their income, don't be surprised that they won't really care about your business. And that's bringing to the point of community. At work, you don't want to build a family. And I see this a lot when I do consultancies with businesses, that they want to create a family environment. And I'm sorry, communities support each other, sometimes families don't. And you want to find ways with every person and depending on the size, right? So for example, if you look at a business that has maybe 15 people or even less, sometimes entrepreneurs start with them with 5 or 10. You need to put the effort to know the individual story of each person that is part of your founding, the foundation you built your business on, and what is important for them. Because the problem that happens is if you only focus from a business owner side, what kind of challenges it means. So, for example, I have a business here where I told him, please make sure you get a car lift for everybody. And it sounds so small for you when you hear it, a car lift. What do you mean? Car lift is basically when a car comes and pick up the employees so you go home. Because actually, most of the employees didn't want to stay longer and deliver more sales and revenue to the business because they were worried how they're going to catch the bus and the metro. And when he did this kind of a small investment, surprisingly, people were so happy, more relaxed, and the sales grew because one of the analysis I do is by time. So in the time where it's the last 2 hours, and remember, a lot of business gets more sales after working hours. This is when we go free. It grew, and we are just sharing with us over 600% without anything, only the investment about car lift. So focus on that. But also, when you're an employee, you need to invest in yourself from a point of view of what do you need to educate yourself about. Sometimes we keep asking for more unintentionally, but if you look in your past 6 months and ask yourself how much did you invest from time, it doesn't mean money, to learn. And there's so much content out there. This webinar just to kind of a reminder, right? If you go on YouTube, I promise you there is not a single subject you can think about and it's not out there. And there are a lot of amazing people that offer this for free. If you enjoy reading, you can go for blog posts. And if you have any question about any specific area, feel free to share it. And I'm sure after that, we can really do it at a later stage or even tomorrow when we engage person. But the most important thing before we move into the hiring part is please do remember, if you're an employee, look at yourself. And I always tell this to most of the employees, especially small businesses, think of yourself as the business owner and how can you help the business to grow. And also go to the owner and tell them, I'm willing to put more effort, more time to help you grow in exchange of. And if you are an entrepreneur or a business owner, think the same. We had this conversation very recently where we went to some of the team and he said, guys, we're very close to achieving a specific target, which will bring us at a very healthy level. We promise you, if we're able in the next 2 months to hit this target, everybody will get a 15% salary increase. You'll be very surprised how people, and when you create this bridge between the business owner and the employees and become a bit more transparent on the situation, they're willing to help, but just be there for them. Any questions so far?
I've got a lot of them. Wait for you to finish, and then
Sorry?
I think a lot of us do. We want to have a healthy discussion with you right
Sure,
after you're done. I
sure,
have a lot. I'm taking notes, but please go
sure.
ahead.
No problem at all. All right. So now, again, those golden rules are shared. It's not like they're written in books. It's honestly through my own experience, what I believe in, but I hope it may make sense for you and help you to grow, whoever you are. So now let's talk about hiring, and then we talk about retention. You will see so far, and I hope you understand. I have a very human approach, and I believe in this. And I believe at the end, I can make a business make 10x and grow faster, but not focusing on technology or not focusing. And I think Armin, because me and her husband used to work together, it's by focusing on people, and I truly believe in it. And I can go in any debate with anyone around this. Invest in people, you'll grow way faster than even with technology, because at the end, technology requires people to use it. But when it comes to hiring, here's what I saw in the past couple of years. And you'll be very surprised. It doesn't matter if you're a small business of 5 people, if you are even a medium size of a 50 or 100 plus, or even going to the enterprise, it's exactly the same problem. Hiring is about first identifying that you have a problem or a situation that I need to fill this role, right? Then finding them. So this is more your effort to try to find them. But a lot of businesses miss that you need also to attract them because they can come to you, right? And then you go through this process of selecting them, right? And I think this is where it becomes very interesting, right? And can be irritating for both sides, right? Whether the hiring committee or the candidates, right? But what I saw were the biggest issues so far, and please do keep this in mind, it's the lack of clarity on the job description, right? And I love when I see businesses keep, adding more and more and more tasks that at the end you don't recognize who is the superwoman or superman that need to join the organization, right? And also it happens from the employee side or the job seeker, where they keep applying on so many different things where probably they cannot relate more than 20% of their experience to it, right? And second, it's so important to understand culture. And when I mean culture here, not nationalities, the culture of the company. So you can imagine I've been working for 20 years. I still have great relationship with a lot of people over my experience and career. So sometimes I would tell ex-colleagues of mine, you know what, when I was in Majda Futain, you'll be a perfect fit. I think you should apply and go through the process. But maybe when I went into the banking industry, I say, guys, you know what? I don't think, given the strength and areas of improvement you have, that would be the right fit for you. But it's so important that as a hiring person, right, a hiring leader, you need to understand who is the right candidate for you from a culture perspective, right? So if you're in a startup environment where it's long hours, right, and weekends, long weekends working, you need to know who you're looking for and be transparent about this. And the more you're transparent about it during the interview, both of you will understand what kind of sacrifice you're asking them to do. And then it's up to them to decide whether that's the right thing or not. But what happens is we don't expose them to all this information and the challenges. And when they join first day, boom, it becomes, quite stressful. And then planning, right? So we all wait until the last minute where really the business is in need of hiring, and then we start to rush it. And guess what? Everybody's under pressure. A manager needs the employees, so he will accept sometimes not the best, most qualified candidates, and the right for the role is whoever can join faster. And it happens so much, and I've seen this. Um, One thing that sometimes made me sad is when, again, we overlook the internal candidates, right? And I think this is a very important point, even if you're on a small scale, when it comes to your business. You have to realize that sometimes you can shift people, right, from a position or a certain responsibility to another, right, and have a good conversation. Actually, it can be exciting for them, and then you can fill the role where they were before, right? So keep this in mind whenever you want to. And sometimes you can actually brainstorm with your team and tell them, guys, I'm thinking about hiring this and this role. What do you think? You'll be very surprised. Some actually may have the experience, but for some reason they were fitting the wrong role, right? And then I think the last one is not because we are leaders, not because we are amazing in business. It means we know how to do interviews. And again, one of the two consultancies I'm doing, I told both of them, please pay external partner to do the interviews for you, or ask someone and pay them on a kind of commission based or something to help you with the interviews. Either you're willing to go and understand how to interview people, and that's not an easy process, right? But also at the same time, to all the job seekers on watching this, please put the effort in understanding the process. And this is not about, I've seen a lot of content that makes us sound like robots. It's not about that. But it is truly understand even the basic, simple question of, tell me about yourself. And I'm sure you can relate to it. You'll be very surprised of how, if you put so much effort in educating yourself about this area to know how to tell your story back to the original one, you can not only nail the job and get this offer, but actually you can negotiate better because you're able to tell your own story, right? Now, technology is an important element to it, right? But again, it depends on your size. The bigger you are, there are a lot of technologies out there that you can utilize. When it comes to platforms you can use for hiring, again, of course, please don't depend only on recommendations from friends. I see this a lot, especially when you go into the small and medium size. I think it's pretty dangerous because basically you're just depending on the hiring on people where you need to expand. And there are amazing websites out there. I mean, LinkedIn, Indeed, Nokri Golf, and so on. And again, if you don't have the time, you can, pay a freelancer to help you. Even you can pay a virtual assistant that can help you post, filter based on a clear requirement, and reduce the admin work for you if you're a business owner that don't have a lot of big structure under it to support. Yeah, and then we can move into retention and nurturing. I don't know if there is any question around the hiring, or we keep it till the end. All right.
Yeah. Let's move fast, and then
All
I
right.
think we have
Fantastic.
minutes. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Perfect. So when it comes to the retention, right? Now, I think a lot of whether business owners, entrepreneurs, or employees, when they hear the word retention, it means how many years you stayed in the business. And believe me, I had the same belief, which I realized a few years ago, that is a misleading one. It's not about how many years, it's about their engagement level and how committed they are to the business and how they enjoy going to work and leaving work, right? And that's a very big thing. It doesn't mean if they spend 10 years in your business that they're engaged and committed. They're just there. And same for the employees. It doesn't mean that you spend 5 years. It means you're actually happy there. So if I would really focus on the five things, and that's it, Armin, I think we'll be covering it. First is career development. You'll be very surprised. It's not always about salary. It's not always about the perks. Sometimes they feel if they stay 10 years, there is no progression for them. And a lot of managers even need a lot of development in this area to understand how to develop their own team, right? Poor work-life balance, it's unfortunately it's a big challenge. And again, it starts if you only educate yourself about working smarter, not harder, believe in the concepts, and have your own work-life balance. I'm sure you're going to be able to pass this along, and your culture in the organization will be the same. There is not enough recognition also was a very important point. And recognition, again, I don't mean in a financial manner. If you bring the small team, if you print a simple certificate and just recognize them publicly, I assure you people will be super happy because they know their effort means something and is being recognized. Now, the one what I like to call the cancer in any organization, it's when you ignore your employees' feedback. How often do you collect the feedback is so important. It's not something you do daily or weekly. It's something you do on the go. And you try also to have a structured, and there are a lot of free tools you can use to even gather insights from them. And then you need to act on them. You need to discuss it, and then act on it. And I think the last piece is there is nothing worse than we have amazing interviews. Everybody is happy. You get the offer, you sign it, you resign, you join, and then they have a very poor onboarding experience. The first day is always the first impression, as we all know it. It's nothing new to anyone. Please put enough effort to block your calendar to make sure you can welcome the new team members at any level, engage with them, because they will always remember how did you onboard them, especially on the first day. And yeah, I think that's it. I can have some water, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mo. I'm going to put my spotlight on. Any questions, anyone? Any thoughts? Anybody wants to jump in? Please feel free. I have so many notes. So I'll start while the reflection begins for the listeners and the viewers. I think one of the things that you mentioned about hiring as an entrepreneur, and when
Yep.
you're starting off, right? When you have a team less than 20 people, you usually hire from people you know, and friends and family and extensions and ex-colleagues and things like that.
Yep.
I would really want to call out this fact and this observation which I have, that, and also I've also gone through that. We kind of build an echo chamber in some way, and that echo chamber is detrimental to the business growth, as well as it is very, very dangerous for relationships at the end of the day as well. So when you do, I mean, it's not a situation when it comes to you've met that colleague 10 years later and they've evolved, and that's not the example. It's about close friendships and close people. I truly believe that even on the other side, even as an employee, if you have a job opportunity that your friend is giving you, you have to take it only if you really think that you're going to add value, right? It works both ways. So I was having this conversation with a friend of mine, and we were considering something recently. And I also thought about it, that I don't want to take something on unless and until I am very sure if I can add value. Because it's at the end of the day, I truly believe, and we've so many times we've spoken about it, right, Mo? It's not about the money. It is about the human, it's about the connection, and it is about the relationship. And
True.
Shekha was acknowledging the fact that she wishes she would have networked more in her life, in her early years, because now everybody from college has grown to some place and, become someone, become somebody, and that connection could have helped. I'm sure that's what she meant as well. So I think echo chambers is something that we have to be very conscious of on both sides. And you mentioned it on the employee, on the entrepreneurship front, but I think even the employees or people who are looking for jobs should not just desperately take something if a friend is offering or something like that, because it not a friend, but even family members, it just, yeah.
True.
That was one point that I wanted to highlight for the career seekers or the job seekers, people who are looking to evaluate what next for their career. The other point that you mentioned was cross-functional activities, or being a cross-functional resource if you're
Yep.
going to the SME, startup, or small and medium business world. And being that, having that ability to be agile and having the ability to take up new responsibilities will give you growth as you go along if you're starting off your journey, because you learning on the job is the best. Even when we do our MBAs, right? More we've been told you should come to
True.
and get an MBA after you have some work experience. Otherwise, it's just going to be bookish knowledge for you.
True.
So this is something that I wanted to reflect. Anybody wants to jump in and reflect on something that I spoke about or Mo spoke about? I know a lot of entrepreneurs are here today
Yep.
from Norway. There's Samar, there's Shekha, there's Meghna, she's a speaker as well. So anybody wants to jump in, please do. And the other thing that I really want to give you a double thumbs up on is invest in yourself, because that's what we've been talking about. You really need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in your time. You need to, keep growing on your own, growing as an individual, as a human being, and then as a professional.
True. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are my thoughts. Lena,
Amazing.
Lena's here as well. Lena, your hand popped up now. Hi, Lena.
Hi, yes, I'm here. As you said about investing in yourself, I think as a company owner, you never stop learning, and also as an employee, you never stop learning, and you shouldn't. You should always invest in yourself and in your growth, whether you're a company owner, entrepreneur, whatever, or an employee. So. And it's always nice to see when employees or when I'm recruiting, it's like they are really on the ball, they are going to grow and really wanting to grow in their professional life, and showing they're not just this one thing, but they are a lot more. There's a lot more to them than just a CV or this particular job. So it's really important to stay up to date with things, because there's so many developments in the world, and if you are striving for growth, I think it's really important. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you so much. Makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Lina.
Summer has
Any
some
questions? Oh, sure.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Nice to be in this meeting. I enjoyed it. It's really helpful, and I like this pinpointing things that are really important for every one of us. I thank you, Mo. I agree with almost all of the points that you discussed. Especially, I'm a very heavy reader, and I got to a point where I stopped reading because I have to wear my glasses, which is a
great.
barrier to reading.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I turned to audiobooks as well. And it helped a lot. As you said, whatever I'm doing, I've got my AirPods in and I'm just listening. So in this year, I've read around 23 books already, and I'm going
Wow.
fast and strong.
Wow. Wow.
So I agree with that. And the other point is taking care of yourself. I own a hair salon in the Box Park called Serendipity Hair Salon. And this is what I tell everyone, especially women. Usually there's a lot of pressure put on us to be everything. And we sometimes ignore ourselves trying to be everything, which is impossible. You can't be a superwoman, doing everything perfectly without, as you said, taking care of yourself. So the mental part, I know there are people who take care of that. We take care of the physical part. We can do all kinds of beauty services for ladies, even trying to give them, the best pampering they deserve when they visit our salon. And thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow, inshallah, personally. You and your fiance. Wish you all the best.
My pleasure.
And thanks again. Thank you
so
Thank
much.
you,
Thanks.
Summer. So Namita is here. No, Meghna has her hand raised, and NM. I think that's Nadeem. Meghna, you want to go, and then we'll jump to Nadeem. Hi, Meghna.
Hi, I don't know if you can see me or what.
Yes,
You can.
Okay, so I heard you in the car when I was driving, and I just rushed and got into, and I wanted to like raise my hand and say, Armin would know this is a very close to heart topic that you were talking about more, because I've spent like 18 years of my life in HR at various leadership positions, and some of the things that you said are very pertinent and very important. Again, something recent that I heard Armin talk about, again, super important. And GCC is a beast of its own. There are different ways things work here. Coming from HR, and I understand that we're talking about entrepreneurs probably who are from SME, who are like on a startup, etc.
Sure.
But there are 2 or 3 things that I would want to add before. One thing is, which I really feel, and as a mentor also I speak a lot about, is, all right, you figured out what your company is, all right, you figured out what you want to sell, but do you know what your value system is? A lot of people do not go through that. And okay, probably they figure out their brand value and, all the other things. But no matter whether you decide to hire your husband or your mother-in-law or your someone from resume, the other resume card from somewhere else, it has to be a value match. And it is not just about getting a co-founder, but every single person, including the driver that you're hiring to deliver things to your customers. If supposing customer service is one of the highest value that you stand for, then that is something that you have to figure out in all the other things. You can probably teach him driving later, but then this particular thing, the values, the soft skills, what you stand for is so important, and it is so easily not thought about by the entrepreneurs that I see and I've come across. And I'm not just talking about SMEs, I'm talking about even the bigger MNCs that I've worked with. It's just a small thing, but it's always missing. So my humble request would be, do it for yourself, do that exercise. There's some amazing coaches in It's Her Way. I'm sure they can help you figure it out. If not, it's available online. Just do it. So value is super important. And that value can probably become the base of your other competency profiling or skill matrix later. Again, because you're starting new. I mean, I was just this morning, I was having a conversation with the startup that I'm mentoring. They're into MarkTech. And this is super interesting. And 2 days back, I had just told him that, do you know the RACI? And which is basically who's responsible, who's accountable, who needs to be consultant and who needs to be informed of your own team. And he was like, oh, I don't. I'm like, the reason why you are going again and again and again for things like to approve is because probably the 4 people in your team do not even know if they are responsible for it, or they need to inform you or not. And these are, again, very small things, and these are done. And there are some really good consultants out there. I can share my rate card, who would help you do it. It's not a big deal. But whether you're a small business, whether you are running a salon, Summer, I'm looking at you, or you're running a bigger company, just knowing what your people do, where there's head at, what their values are, who needs to be consultant, who needs to be informed, how the process needs to go. It's so beautiful, it's so simple, and so doable that I think people should do. And then make your HR philosophy and policies and processes and decide who you want to hire. So yeah.
Thanks for jumping in, Meghna. We missed you all these days.
Thank you. I was listening though. I was listening to quite a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
things.
I saw you
This
pop
is
in
a
and
passionate topic. Yeah.
That's
side
amazing.
conversation I'll have.
The lady
Okay,
knows her
let's jump
data.
on to Nadeem. Nadeem, hi. Hello.
Hello, hi. I'm not able to start my video though. The host has
That's all right.
disabled it. Yes, okay. Okay, hello everyone. So I'm Nadeem, I'm partner at Crow. Thanks Mo for the wonderful session. And I relate to you. I hate reading. For some reason, I have been pushing myself since childhood. We should read books.
On the hate
Yes.
rating, yeah, this section.
We should read books. My parents have been tired of pushing me. I have never read a newspaper for a change. So it's always been difficult. And yes, podcast and audio books do help. They shorten the time of your learning. That would take you some days. And of course, you also mentioned about relationships, Armin. I echo you when you say about, when you add value, that's where you should be. And if you don't, then I think so you should be upfront and honest to yourself before being honest to the opposite party, that, okay, you cannot add value, you shouldn't be there around. And consultants, Meghna, I'm not selling our services, but yes, we are audited consulting firm. Yes, you should have the right partners with you. That's very important. It's not about, spending less or more. We have seen people burnt hands when they try to cut corners and cut cost. I think that's very important that you invest in the right partnerships. Maybe it's your advisors, consultant, auditors. It always pays you in the long run. So thanks for this wonderful session, Armin. Hats off to you for giving so much to the community. And you girls are, you have been blessed by Allah, we always say, for multitasking. Which we men, Mo is here, he'll echo me. I'm sure that we cannot do it. If we are on mobile and if our wives are speaking or your fiance is speaking, I know you ignore it. Because it's not that we ignore it, we are so focused on one thing.
I have to agree.
Unless she's speaking about football.
But
if I may follow football, so unfortunately I don't, so I don't
or
even
cricket,
listen to that.
Or cricket, yeah.
So
I think you mentioned something very interesting. I think you remind me of something I was telling to one of my clients is, please be careful. There is a huge difference between being cheap and being cost efficient, right?
Very nice.
I think it links to the idea when we covered it earlier about you need to understand that life is about steps and stages. It may not make sense for you at this step and this stage of the business to invest X to get Y, but just make sure you plan for it in stage 2, stage 3. So it's a journey, right? You cannot achieve everything unless you have endless capital, right? Endless funds that you can run. And I mean, that would be an amazing thing. We would love to meet this person that has endless funds, but it's very hard, right, to find. So, but yeah, just a reminder, please be cost efficient, don't be cheap. And especially when it comes to your own education, your own development, or the growth of the organization.
Yeah. I think that's 2 cents. Actually, that makes the 80% of the importance when you're a startup or you're a mid-sized company, because you're investing in the right resources, it kind of changes the game for you.
True.
And then things will go forward and upwards and onwards. By the way, 600% was like, I wrote a big capital wow. I want to know. I want to know more. I want to know.
Yes.
Just so that everyone gets the context of this banter, Mo has, I took Mo out for a coffee a few months ago, and he really transformed a lot of things for me on its survey. On the e-commerce front. Math legacy, of course, so I picked his brains and more. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Mo. Sorry, you were saying something.
No, not at all. I think what is always very interesting, and again, back to the thing that I think if you ask me, one of my strengths, I like to simplify things. Sometimes we like to go and hit a mountain. I mean, good luck if you're trying to break a mountain. It's too hard. Breaking into small things can help a lot, and trying to solve I mean, every business has 100 problems. First, think about the problems. If you invest 100% of your time, which ones will get you the highest return? Because sometimes also we put so much energy into small things. So what we do is we run the exercise to see where is the highest probability or the potential in growing, right? And the lowest risk if we put all our effort, time, money, and everything. And you'll be very surprised most of the time. I mean, you're surrounded by all smart people, whether on the business, whether yourself. I mean, they didn't reach where they are from nothing. So you actually make it, and of course there are learnings. You do mistakes, and it's all right. We celebrate mistakes as much as we celebrate wins. So yeah, I think that's how it works.
So I have one of our members here as well, Sheikha Al-Nuaimi. She is the founder of Small Cakes, a cupcakery. It's one of my favorite cupcake shops. They have these really large, extra large cupcakes. I'll let Sheikha from Ajman. She's Emirati, and she's one of our ambassadors at It's Survey also. So Sheikha, over to you.
Hello, hi Arman. Thank you for that. I do thank you on all the advices. It's my first speech that I do agree with that speaker from the beginning to the end. Only when you mentioned read is something that I struggle with, because I don't have that long breath to read something longer. Maximum I read a paragraph, but I can turn it to a word saying keep yourself updated with knowledge in the sector that you are interested in. I think this is much fits than read. Something else I want to really share my experience in when you mentioned celebrate. I heard the same advice from my general manager in the organization since 3 years. I was heading the sales department. So in every month, end of the month, if we didn't reach the target, we feel upset. Although the result is higher than the month before. And we do have number of other achievements like certain awards, improvement in service, a better customer feedback. And we don't see all these lines. We only see the last amount. And if we didn't reach the target, we are upset. And then he turned on a monthly basis and small event. The name of the event is Celebrate. And we have to submit to him something positive about our month. So every employee search something in his month that he can just pop up and say it's a positive thing. So we discovered that we end the month with, for example, 10 positive things to celebrate, and the only thing is not meeting the target, which is it's a 10% of what we are doing of improving services and all other. Since that time, when it comes to end of the month, if I do have certain plans, and by any reason it doesn't happen, I immediately think about what's done there. Sometimes it's I done something new for my health. For example, I sorry for not turning the camera on, but Armin inspired me when she went to the gym for a few days and she posted a picture. So I'm stepping into the gym now. Thank you, Armin, for that. I don't like to talk without a camera, actually. I like my reactions to be there. So there is a lot of positive things we do it with our day, but we don't celebrate it. We don't. So even smiling end of the month and recognizing yourself or tapping on yourself is a big achievement, is a big achievement. So I do encourage everyone to, now we are toward end of the month. If you recall what you done from the beginning of the month till end, you can celebrate till after tomorrow. So there is a lot of things. I'm sure everyone has an achievement that we don't see the positive side. So thank you, Mo, for highlighting and reminding us to celebrate. It's a very important thing, because being an entrepreneur, you need to boost yourself and not wait only for others. And if you boost yourself, you can boost your team. Otherwise, you will be spreading negativity there. So thanks. And I would like to share certain points on LinkedIn, if you don't mind. So is it okay to mention the advices?
Of
Okay.
course, of course, of course. I wanted to tell you something, Sheikha. First,
Yeah.
I'm going to speak with Armin after the session of what she did, and I promise you it's going to be the last time, so don't worry, I'll take care of that. Second, no, I want to tell you something. I'll be very honest with you. I made it my mission. I think, and again, many may disagree, but I believe the whole educational system was built to create us as perfectionists, not as effective and then efficient. What I mean is, we've been programmed, and again, maybe many would hate this word, but we've been programmed since we were young. You have to get 100% score in everything. And if you don't, you feel ashamed. And we grew in this kind of system, right? Well, actually, the whole idea is you need to celebrate even if you achieved 60 or 70%, because guess what? Billions have achieved zero in what you just achieved, right? So it is a great progress. So, and for me, at the end, what I believe in, as long we did, and sometimes I stop projects at the 70 and 80%. And the idea is, if I invested more time and effort to achieve the remaining 20%, it's not going to get me the same return if I took all this and reinvested again. And I love to use the word reinvest because time, money, and effort is an investment. Me sitting on this call is an investment because Arlie told me about her mission to help the community. And I'm like, you know what? I took time from my work to invest it to hopefully return to the beautiful country, the UAE, that welcomed me 9 years ago to be part of it, right? So why not? Let's help everybody there. I mean, she promised me a cake and a coffee, and I think the cake is coming from you, maybe, Sheikha. So let's see.
Exactly.
Cake is on me.
And also, just talking about celebration, I really wanted to say that right after Sheikha. Sheikha, we have to celebrate your London's outlet opening. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank
modest.
you.
And when she's talking about her job, she was the head of sales at Ajman Free Zone. It's one of the biggest, most solid free zones. Yeah, Sheikha, I'm not going to stop talking about how successful.
Thank you, Armin. Really.
When I go to, sorry, I have to say, when I go to Ajman Free Zone to do any of my paperwork with my companies, they know that I'm Sheikha's friend now.
Oh,
so work is done. Yeah, and it's done.
You
I
deserve
need
the
to
best.
know where we can get those cupcakes. I'm getting very hungry.
Oh.
I want to just add one more thing here because about Sheikha, because we're talking about it. When she said she believes in celebrating, this is completely off topic. I would just like to say that last year at some point, I had posted on LinkedIn that I received a certification in coaching, etc. You won't believe it. That night, I received a cake from Sheikha.
No, really?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes. Yes. And
Wow.
this is the beauty of this lady, that she not only celebrates her own wins and the wins of her team. I am this one person. I've met her once in my life in, I think, the last year Careers Day. And she's so, yeah. And she's so warm, so kind, and like so appreciative that, you know, I was like, I had tears in my eyes to receive that cake. And I was like, wow. And I looked at my husband, I'm like, what did you bring? He was like, I'll celebrate this weekend. But what I'm trying to tell you is that this is how she impersonates that. And the world is better because of people like Shekha exist. So
Thank you. I should celebrate all what I heard today. Thank you very much, all of you.
You must.
Shekha,
You must.
expect a LinkedIn request from my end.
Sure, sure.
Absolutely, yes. And we do need to have those cakes and cupcakes
Sure.
and
See
meet
you
you.
tomorrow, all of you. Sure.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we will not be able to just caution now that we have a close-knit group here. Just caution for the venue. The venue, last time we had a cake from outside, I had to fight tooth and nail because they're gluten-free, Shekha, this one.
Yeah,
This
yeah, I know.
Yeah, you cover it up or whatever, you know, you do your thing, and then we'll sneak the cakes in.
Thank you all. Nice to meet you, really. Thank you, Mo, for your speech.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arman, for all the effort that you're putting here.
He's a star.
I just want to thank you very much, everyone. I'm flattered. I just want to request if you can switch on your camera for a second. I want to take a nice screenshot of all the smiles. Whoever can. Shekha, it's fine for you. Samar, are you there? Or you're inside the salon? Okay, there you are. Okay. Oh, nice. Looking good.
I'm having my hair done. This is why I turned my camera up, because half is done, half is not done. I have a
It's
shoot
fine. You
happening
look-
at 5:30. So I'm
You
late.
always look beautiful.
You
Thank you
always
so much, Lena. Lovely seeing you.
just give
Lovely
me a
seeing you.
second. I'm gonna take a picture quickly. Oh, my. Sorry. Huh, here. Okay. Okay, smile. Thank you so much, everyone. See you tomorrow, whoever's attending.
See you tomorrow.
Lots of
Bye,
love.
Roman.
Take
Thank
care.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Thanks, Armin. Thanks, Mo. Bye-bye.